Okay, so this is gonna be a silent stream. Mm.
Form. Like when you're the type of person who's gonna try and force all your friends to play Bubsy 3D, and it's gonna be a fun time. I don't think that Devil's Third is that bad, but the reviews from the time were not kind. Unfortunately, this thing was in development hell, initially gonna be a multi-platform release published by THQ, but yeah, that wasn't gonna end well. Then Nintendo picked him up as an exclusive, and we got what we got. Look, the story doesn't matter. The setup, whatever. You play as Ivan, a big man with a thick accent who you first see slamming down a drum solo. Someone was clearly watching Whiplash. He gets out, joins a killer military squad where he shoots, explodes, slices, dices, and makes his tattoos glow as you brutalize everything in sight. The gameplay, it's just okay. The AI floats between being aggressive and dumb, movement can be very quick, and some of the glory kill animations are pretty over the top violent. You'll just also be fighting constant frame stuttering. Heck, it's so prominent in the original release that even if you're emulating, it still messes up. I think the most surprising thing here is that this was technically Itagaki's directorial follow-up to Ninja Gaiden 2, which is kind of, in my opinion, still the pinnacle of the character action genre. So Devil's Third, a game that feels very 2008, pops out in 2015 and is a total flash in the pan. It was demolished in reviews, sold poorly, had a small print run, and if you want this thing in box, it's gonna cost you $350. The most expensive Wii U game. There's some fun and funny moments, and I do think it's worth a play, but you're gonna have to get Simu working in order to try. Good old Nintendo versus the preservation of video games. The biggest positive Devil's Third had was actually its multiplayer mode. There's also a Windows version published by Nexon instead, and it was considered to be genuinely good. The mix of hack and slash with gunplay actually worked in an online multiplayer environment, and even though it was kind of this hybrid Call of Duty Counter-Strike thing, people really dug it. This was unfortunately also shut down in 2016, a mere 16 months after the original release. I never got to play this myself, obviously, but all the footage I've seen is entertaining. While I'm very aware that it's not great, I mean, it's Ksoge, Devil's Third would be the last release by Valhalla Game Studios, who'd get folded up into Solely Limited as recently as 2021. They actually just released Wanted Dead, and that game is basically a spiritual successor to Devil's Third. Imagine that, but with a tinge of Twin Peaks or Deadly Premonition. It also got slammed in reviews, and I initially hated it, but every time I boot it up recently, my eyes are glued, and I can't look away. Just like Devil's Third.
I think everyone out there needs to experience a little Ksoge from time to time. You know, a guilty pleasure game. I feel like a lot of people have like zero tolerance for a little jank or badness from time to time, but if you kind of sit down every now and then with one of these, to me, it's the same experience as watching a bad movie on purpose. It's like, huh, that's dumb, but I enjoyed it anyway. Maybe I'm just built different. Maybe I'm stupid. But there we have it. More rare and expensive video games that you're probably never gonna own, and honestly, you probably shouldn't even try. Look, I'm just saying if someone watches this and is like, I gotta own Spider-Man Web of Fire, don't say I didn't warn you. You freak. If you like this video and want to see me tackle more rare and expensive games, let me know down in the comments. I like doing these because it allows me to talk about stuff that I normally really wouldn't get the chance to do so, but I'm more than willing to talk about a lot of this stuff, as long as I don't have to buy a Saturn game, because that is ridiculous.
Good.
If you liked today's video, consider checking out today's sponsor, supporting me on Patreon, becoming a member on YouTube, or buying a t-shirt from the Pixel Empire. It all goes back into the channel and maybe a copy of Steel Battalion one day for the full experience. Anyways, I've been Austin, and catch me next time when we talk about some more clones. It's time.
Thank you so much for watching. Special Patreon shout out to Aaron Kwolek, Blackfoot Ferret, Cheeks, Chris Shelton, Doug Prince, DX Buster, David Molnar, Elijah, GM Pinks, Hey Quiggles.
What can I listen to the background while I can be? Yeah, don't care.
Time of the year again, you know the one. The worst and most disappointing video games of 2021. This year was interesting to
Like I should use ad block if I'm gonna be streaming. No. Just we're gonna go get extensions. Yeah, open Chrome Web Store. Did you see this? Okay. I don't advocate ad block, I just advocate it when streaming. I am so sorry, Austin Eruption. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be using ad blocker. Wait, no, this might not be the right ad I should use.
say the least. During the last 365 days of the sun orbiting around the Earth, we've had a lot of hands-on time with a brand new generation of consoles. The PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, the Switch, still, and of course, high-fidelity PC gaming. That is, if you can purchase things faster than our robotic overlords, or don't mind sitting in line outside of a Best Buy for 3 days straight. Or, you know, you could always shell out twice the price to a reseller because hypebeasts and crypto bros have ruined everything. It's like everybody loves Raymond, except nobody loves Raymond, and Raymond is you, monkey NFT man. But this isn't about my problem with consumerism, this is about video that's kind of the same thing, huh?
So yo, it's Austin, and today we're gonna be talking about the worst and most disappointing video games of 2021. Now, this year actually kind of leans into the latter side of the things, as a lot of games weren't like outright bad this year. But first, this video is sponsored by GXC. GXC is a new platform where gamers and indie developers can band together to create and play games. It's a place to play free games made by people like you. Developers can easily upload things and showcase their projects to a large audience hungry for some gaming. GXC has all sorts of genres and styles, from smaller games made by aspiring developers to bigger projects putting it out there for free. Everything's playable instantly in browser in a very intuitive manner. I've really been enjoying this game called Advise the King, which is this hybrid chess roguelite deck builder game. So you got like the king, and then you get cards, and you can tell him to move, and you have to avoid other pieces and, you know, the chess style formations, and it's pretty awesome. This is the kind of game I would normally buy and sink a ridiculous amount of hours into, but on GXC I get to play it for free. And I feel the same way about BlastNet. This game rocks. There's tons of games to pick from, but if you're unsure of what to play, there's leaderboards and trending tabs that'll tell you exactly what other people in the community are playing. And the kicker for all you point heads out there, there's a challenge of the week. Every week, GXC has one of their free games put on center stage where there's up to $1,000 in gift cards up for grabs. This week is Minivania Plus, so go check that out. GXC is completely free, and you should check it out exclusively on Opera GX, the world's first browser for gamers, which is also free. I actually swapped over to this browser earlier this year because it has a lot of system functionality I like, so make sure to check out the description and download the link below to start playing games on GXC today. But for now, back to the video.
Okay, so right off the bat, 2021 was not that bad of a year. Compared to recent ones, there were no glaringly awful games for me to bring into the fray and subject myself to pain with. Oh, and to get this out of the way, blah blah blah. Balan Wonderworld, blah blah, watch this nearly 40-minute video I already made on it. Yes, I read the novel. The fun part about this video is that I get to play some truly awful PlayStation 5 games, and yeah, those already exist. The sad part about this video is that sometimes you might be excited for a game and then it ends up being extremely disappointing. These are the ones that hurt the most in 2021, and believe you me, you might feel it too. As always, I'll try to stay away from the small indies because punching down is lame. Unfortunately, there were no glaringly obvious anime booba games for me to tackle this time around, so hopefully 2022 will bring us back to glory.
Why not get this started with a repeat offender? Last time, one of the worst of the year was Fast and the Furious Crossroads, and this year we got Fast and the Furious Spy Racers Rise of Shifter. That's a SH1FT3ER.
Okay.
I can't get it right. FT3R, lead speak.
I had no idea that there was a Fast and Furious kids show. That might be a sign of my brittle gamer boomer bones turning into dust, but apparently this thing got 5 seasons, is about to get a final 6th, and people watch it. It probably doesn't have as many views as the rock rap, but still, it's about drive.
It's about power. We stay hungry. I'm smothering this French toast.
The main question is like, who is this cartoon for? Fast and Furious has always been more older teenager to adult centric. I'm not sure that people who watch the star-ridden films filled with over-the-top stunt sequences using a hybrid of CGI and practical effects would be that interested in a cartoon, but clearly it's done well enough to get itself a video game. Enter Fast and Furious Spy Racers Rise of Shifter, a game made by 3D Clouds, the people behind King of Seas, All-Star Fruit Racing, but most importantly, Race with Ryan. Ah, baby. Unfortunately, this one's not quite as good as the Fruit one. In fact, I'd say it's worse than the last Fast and Furious game based on one principle alone: it's slow. Oh, so slow. Forza Horizon 5, this is not, despite them coming out on the exact same day. This thing says I'm going like 150 miles an hour, but you look at the screen and you know, you see the clunk. So the main mechanic here is that it is slightly like a car combat game. You have a weapon meter in the corner that charges up all the time, giving you access to attacks, boosts, and car-specific abilities. No, not like any of that matters, because you'll be spending nearly the entire time in first place with no one near you because of how easy this game is. It's more of a moderately paced and easygoing time trial as opposed to a Fast and Furious race. And then there's the physics. You ever been driving at like top speed, you crash straight into a wall, and it's like boink. So keeping those two things in mind, a majority of this experience is just gonna be you drifting around corners with its slow and kind of unfun racing physics as you gently bounce off walls, listening to the sound of your engine's 2 or 3 noise levels completely deafening everything else happening. Oh, and of course, the occasional cringy dialogue.
How you like me now?
Both the developer and the franchise have made better, and it's kind of clear that this was quickly thrown together as a tie-in. And that's unfortunate because the Fast and Furious franchise still has a ton of potential for a cool racer. One of these days, someone will make a proper successor to Split Second, which is really freaking good, by the way, but today is not that day. Not even close. At least we've always got CGI Dominic Toretto.
So there's an example of something bad from the air, but also something without any expectation.
I'm going to make a metal barrel with water in it. So first I'll make a low poly cylinder and just mark the seams to unwrap it. And I'll search online for free textures. I'll put some links in the metal texture for these and then just put them on your model. Remember that the smaller something is, the smaller its texture resolution should be, and every element in your scene should have similar size pixels on their textures. For materials, the PS1 supported unshaded and garage shading, which most engines don't have as a default option these days, so you might have to get some shader code for that online or write your own, though most people probably wouldn't know. Make sure to disable texture filtering so you get that thing the PS1 did, which is what changed the render resolution to 320. I like to find pictures of front, side, of whatever I'm making, plus close-ups of detailed parts like faces, and then you can just cut what you want out of pictures and compile them into one texture, and this is the look that most people associate with PS1 characters, and then you can just cut what you want out of pictures and compile them into one texture and then scale that down. Also, for character limbs, early PS1 game characters tended to have limbs that were separate segments, and this is the look that most people associate with PS1 characters, even though later games did have rigged meshes. So if you're trying to exploit that nostalgia, then do segmented limbs. And that's pretty much all there is to it. If you want a more detailed look, I've linked a stream in the description where I make the main character from Death Stranding in a PS1 style. Delete these vertices and then add in a mirror.
Probably do that later. I try and do stuff based off my own novice experience. Do I want just the face to be pointed, or do I want the face to be flat? Well, I don't want detail on the face, I know that. Because I'm going to rely on masks as a mechanic. So I could leave his face flat. How do I do this? Could use... Okay. I'm just gonna use this image as reference. So I know this has a wireframe. Tool here. Okay. Well, I think it's still high poly actually. Let's look at this for reference. Okay, so pause this bullshit. Inspector. This is all triangle. This is all triangles. Okay.
At all. Now, with a licensed game, typically there's a lot of skepticism going in, but with something like Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, I was kind of hyped.
When they showed off that first trailer for Dark Alliance at the Video Game Awards, I gotta admit it was pretty silly, but I got hyped. One of the first games I got on my PlayStation 2 as a wee lad was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, and I played the ever-loving crap out of it. It was the proper console version of something like Diablo. It was one of the first loot-centric RPGs I remember playing where any piece of armor I grabbed could potentially change the way I looked. It was also my first experience with anything Dungeons & Dragons related. The defunct Snowblind Studios, at least in my opinion, put out banger after banger, and I don't think I'm the only one who enjoyed Lord of the Rings War in the North. That game was cool. So when you throw the words Dark Alliance in my face, I'm gonna immediately have massive expectations. I played countless hours of co-op with friends in Baldur's Gate, and boy howdy if I wasn't ready to do it again. But this time with modern HD graphics, quality of life changes, and big boy budget presentation. Dark Alliance 2021 was not any of that. Though to be honest, I should have figured from the budget price point of $40 that it'd be a little sus. That and the trailers that came out closer to release focused more on showing influencers reacting than, showing the dang old video game. Anytime it briefly cut to gameplay, it was like, oh, that doesn't look right. Well, I hope uber janky, glitchy Dark Souls inspired action games were on your bingo sheets for 2021, because Dark Alliance is all of that and more. Confusing to use interface? Check. High budget looking cutscenes going directly into something that looks like a Launch 360 title? Check. It's weird how unresponsive your character's movesets feel, especially when you play online. You ever destroy a box and then it explodes a whole second later. It's good stuff. The biggest problem here is that Dark Alliance is like 80% of the way there. The groundwork for something really cool is here, but all of the systems feel stiff and like they were trying to mimic other games instead of make something original and neat. There's a bit of love towards D&D with the short rest system, but that's completely overshadowed by the fact that all the loot you get isn't shown to you or put into your inventory until after an entire level. It'll just be like one common Warhammer, and then when you want to hot swap to whatever it is, like in any other video game, you can't. Dark Alliance is so close, yet so far, and that's what makes it super disappointing. And to top that off, in a surprise move, Interplay decided that they were going to re-release Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for modern consoles. Yeah, the one that I like, except it was for $30 for what is essentially an upscale with no additional features. That also means no online, which to me, to be released in the middle of an ongoing pandemic is completely baffling. It's essentially just a way to play on modern consoles. It's still a good, if not great game, but it ends up being a letdown because you're paying half the price of a brand new AAA game for something 20 years old without any real improvements. This was one of the games I wanted to see with modern quality of life changes, but here we are. 2021 and 2 Dark Alliances have left me wanting something better.
Try AWS Database Services with the AWS free tier. Our fully managed databases are purpose-built and designed to achieve optimal
Can I
performance.
install an ad blocker?
Alright, it's time for a visit from my arch nemesis and lifelong rival, Game Mill Entertainment. Now, if you've seen any of the videos, you know they're here like every single
that's
year, and this
bullshit.
year is no different.
Don't
As
buy
you can
this.
tell, I've got another Game Mill game to talk about. In fact, there's 2, the first of which I got at least 100 tweets about.
Don't use it.
You know I'm talking about Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl.
The cycle continues. For some reason, anytime Game Mill announces another Nickelodeon game, people get really hyped about it. Sure, it's not Nick Kart Racer starring me, as I mentioned last year, but it is another yearly licensed game tossed into the wild by the Video Game Mill, and I can't help but think that this is going to be a pattern. I do have to say, this is not any fault of the developer Ludosity. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed a lot of their previous games. It'll Do and Princess Remedy are pretty solid, and I've talked about Slap City before. It's a fun little Smash clone that had a lot of potential, so it makes sense that Game Mill would recruit them to make a Nickelodeon Smash clone. But once again, in what I can only assume is in part due to the cheapness of Game Mill, Nick Smash completely lacks any soul. It is ridiculous to me that a video game in 2021 starring a ton of the more popular cartoon characters from the last 30 years does not have any voice acting at all, or even any grunts. How a video game in 1992 for the NES can have a digitized voiced clip of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shouting but this has absolutely nothing is mind-boggling. Even weirder to me is the hype machine that generates around words like rollback netcode from Hungry Smash fans. If you want my opinion on the matter, I think that Nick All-Stars Brawl is about the same level of quality as the previous 2 Game Mill games, maybe slightly less. There's hardly any features in the game itself. There's like an arcade mode that'll unlock pictures to look at in a gallery. The characters have no unique dialogue with each other. They just kind of say a thing, and a lot of the physics are completely broken. You missed the ledge? Don't worry, just teleport. It's fine. It's an extremely bare bones, nearly free. Just teleport. It's fine. It's an extremely bare bones, nearly featureless game that does its best to try and do the Smash thing, but I think it misses the point of being a licensed game entirely. So exactly like the previous 2 Nick games. Despite some of the clear love thrown into the level design, it comes off as soulless. Character proportions are off. For some reason, Cat Dog is massive. The turtles are supposed to be like 4 feet tall. And why is Helga Pataki in a fighting game? Cat Dog is massive. The turtles are supposed to be like 4 feet tall. And why is Helga Pataki in a fighting game? Like what? I'm almost surprised that we didn't get the Rugrats here, considering they were driving cars in the previous one. Only recently did they announce alternate costumes, but I'm afraid it's probably too little too late. Especially with the newer, much better looking multiverses on the horizon. Look, it has voice acting, which means it automatically wins. Soon we'll finally be able to see Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Also, why not just play Smash? There was no way this was gonna be better than Smash.
And as I was writing this video, they decided to add Garfield into the game. Not just into the game, they also made a Series S Xbox out of it. But you know, as the proud owner of GarfieldPorn.com, I kinda did in this video, they decided to add Garfield into the game. Not just into the game, they also made a Series S Xbox out of it. But you know, as the proud owner of GarfieldPorn.com, I kinda did this to myself. But that's not all. This year I've got 2 Game Millies to talk about, and The following sentence has probably never been said. Have you played the hit PlayStation 5 video game Nerf Legends?
Yep, you aren't dreaming. This is a real video game. One that looks aesthetically very different to a little game that you might recognize. Yeah, totally different. Made by Fun Labs, a Romanian developer responsible for them Cabela games and all of these gems, Nerf Legends is what happens when you are creatively bankrupt. It's an arena shooter where you attempt to get high scores by shooting things with your Nerf dart guns, but you can hardly tell anyways because they function exactly the same as any normal ass FPS. Except one that has close to no feedback and AI more useless than a burlap sack filled with cement. The gameplay here consists entirely of shooting things, shooting switches to solve puzzles and quotations, and surviving waves of enemies. You're directed by some Nerf guy who says things like
Nerfium enhanced blasters
and
the legendary Grandmaster.
and it feels oh so icky. The weirdest part is that it's well made in some aspects and falls apart in others. For a, well, licensed game based off a kid's toy that we used to pelt each other in the face with, there's actual cutscenes here for some reason, and they don't look awful. But then the game itself feels extremely dated, with the level design being flat out confusing. Well, either that or you're killing the Nerf Castle Master from a distance with a pistol because the opponent AI is brilliant. They decided to release this without any kind of local or online co-op multiplayer, BT dubs. You'd think that this would be a no-brainer. You have a time attack based shooter where you go through really simple levels, perfect to play with your kid or a sibling kind of situation, but no, all you got is online lobbies, if it even functions. It is unknown whether or not this works at the moment. Yeah, I'm sure anyone's gonna play this. Though I somehow got an online trophy for coming in first place after going into a lobby by myself, standing on a capture point and falling asleep. And that's not even talking about the sound design. You like a loud heartbeat anytime you're low on HP? How about constant sirens, beep boops, and various spacey Nerf sound effects? The physics don't make any sense, the game is glitchy, the levels are super confusing, but hey, at least we got menu options that'll make sure to properly inform you of what to do. Press triangle to continue, or press triangle to continue. For some reason, if you press square in the lobby, your character like glitches forward to the destination. DLC coming soon. I hope not. Nerf Legends is awful, and that's just what I expect from Game Mill Entertainment.
Next up, let's just keep rolling with the first-person shooter thing. I think this one's kind of just for me, really, but one of the biggest disappointments of the entire year was Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Specifically, the free-to-play part.
Saying that Halo Infinite is a bad game is an objectively incorrect opinion. 343's take on Halo has some of the tightest gunplay and best map design the series has ever had. Any second I'm playing this game the way it's meant to be played, I'm having a great time. It's just when you reach the results screen that it hits. Frankly, the progression systems for Halo and all of its unlockables are awful. They have somehow managed to take a really fun game and drop the oddball into the abyss. So we've got a battle pass for Prague, which is standard these days, and while it's better than loot crates, I personally just miss being able to unlock stuff, like, naturally. Anyways, you rank up the battle pass with XP, 1,000 per level. The only way to get XP currently is to do challenges. And at least as of me writing this, I think that's ruined a lot of the online experience. Despite forking over $10 to the battle pass, unless I clear a very specific set of challenges, I'm not going to be leveling up very quickly at all. They made a hotfix on the XP system, making it so you're guaranteed a level if you play 6 matches a day, but online matches, especially big team battle, are just filled with people trying to complete these challenges. Why go for the objective to win the match, which usually won't give you any experience anyways, when you can just focus on getting 5 kills with a battle rifle or whatever arbitrary thing they tell you to do. Also, you can only have 4 challenges active at a time, and you can't clear out the ones that you can see in the menu, so it just feels bad. In my opinion, the free-to-play trappings have completely ruined the experience. I think free-to-play can
I basically can't see, because I don't have like a monitor on my left or right, I can't see chat, so that's why I didn't respond to you. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. But how it goes, I'm fine, and well, trying to make a model before I make a game, because I don't know, I want to do that first. Seems easier, so I'm just gonna be listening to this while playing a game. Well, doing my shit. Yeah.
definitely work as it have with, say, Final Fantasy XIV or even Fortnite. But there's currently no incentive to win or play well as a team, and that's totally messed up Halo at the moment. I haven't played the single player campaign yet, as I was wanting to wait for co-op, which was just delayed into far 2022 at this point, so that's a whole nother thing on top of this. If Infinite just gave us a normal progression system with the purchase of a copy, which it should have been in the first place, I wouldn't have an issue, but unfortunately, that's not what we got. Even the most dedicated Halo nerds I know feel let down, and that's saying something. But the TLDR, this tweet I made.
Also, 343, as of literally yesterday, announced that they were going to be making big changes to the whole challenge system, which will hopefully fix things, and I just can't keep up. But you know what time it is? Shovelware time. Now, I feel like with the digital releases of video games these days, that shovelware stands out like 3 times as hard because it's getting harder and harder to find the good stuff in this endless vat of garbage. But I'm gonna talk about some shovelware.
Lately, it seems like console digital stores are becoming more and more like Steam Greenlight, where anyone can throw anything onto it. Shovelware isn't just physical anymore, and that's no more evident than it is with something like Lady in a Leotard with a gun. 50 cents, totally cursed looking, and definitely only existing to take money from a very specific subset of gamers. Achievement hunters. People who will buy anything with an easy platinum. This is new shovelware, spelled N-U, because times have changed. But one of the bigger breakthroughs I've seen on the shovel front have been the almost weekly releases from a Breakthrough Gaming. This company made a bunch of games years ago, all Christian themed with Bible verses all over the place, and I'm not gonna get into that, but they split these old games into a bunch of 99-cent things and released them in multiple regions with multiple platinum trophies. You got ZJ the Ball and all of its levels, each individual games, Zippy the Circle, and don't forget skateboarding, all part of their Bible video game Sundays. I'm not really sure about these anime chicks in Bowling Story 1 though. Why is the resolution of the characters so low? They're like GBA sprites. The games themselves are all around the same or much lesser quality than an old school Game & Watch, but no harm, no foul. If these people can only make a few bucks off of people who only care about an arbitrary number on their profiles, good for them.
So moving into the physical realm, I found something that made me literally double take the other day. Now, with the PlayStation 5 being a little bit more than a year old now, I still kind of have this mindset where I expect all of the games to be of quality, or at least a certain bar, you know? Well, that's not the case with this.
I'm not sure why this exists. Apparently, this is a German franchise called Morhan, and it's been going on for years. I don't know why, but there's at least someone out there that loves this little chicken, shooting him or doing other things with it. You've got Morhan Kart, Morhan Pinball, Morhan Mahjong, Morhan Atlantis, whatever that is. And even as recently as this year, there's Morhan Kart 2 on the Switch. This is a Switch game made in 2021. But the thing I picked up in store is Crazy Chicken Shooter Edition Remake, an HD version of the point and shoot chicken game that we all know and love and remember. This is pretty much all we got here. We'll be done with the entire experience in like 15 minutes. The weird part here is this little GS2 Games logo in the corner of the box. This is a newer publisher, I think. They don't have a Moby Games page, and their website has no information or any character at all, but I do know they're responsible for easily the worst box art of 2021, Terra Trilogy. Take it in, y'all. Take it all in.
One last piece of shovelware, though, and something that I thought was definitely going to be taken off of the digital store shelves, was Popeye for the Switch.
Oh my god. I saw a few clips of this game floating.
Definitely going to be taken off of the digital store shelves was Popeye for the Switch.
Oh my god.
I want to shoot myself by looking
I saw
at
a few
that.
clips of this game floating around a month ago, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Published by Subek Limited, the dudes who brought us gems like Handpan, Xylophone, and a $10 calculator for Switch. Popeye. This has to be a tax thing, right? Or maybe something done to keep the rights? Like, there's no way this game was made in earnest. I feel like this is a total base asset flip type of thing. The unique looking models are Popeye, Bluto, Olive Oil, and this annoying crow looking thing. Probably not though. Why are we running around on an island with abandoned buildings all boarded up and closed off like the first level of Resident Evil 5? Why is there a massive building that's a completely different color and architectural style on the top of the hill? Popeye is a sailor man. He lives in a garbage can. He's not a pirate. Why is there a pirate ship? Anytime you get punched, there's the loudest stock sound ever, followed by a personal space oddity. I wasn't expecting to Team Rocket someone into the stratosphere simply because I ate some spinach, but I guess eating your greens enables your fist velocity to launch someone at several million miles an hour. The game itself? It's actually a spot-on recreation of the old Nintendo Popeye game. No, seriously. All you do in both games is go level to level, collecting hearts and letters to spell out phrases while working on your high score.
That ain't even a
That's
Nintendo game,
literally
that's
all
an
there is to
Atari
this
game.
licensed shovelware and the classic Nintendo arcade game,
What
so
do I need to
take
say?
that as you will. It's just, you know, terrible in every aspect. There's only one clearly royalty-free song in the game that's a generic Steamboat Willie / Sailor motif thing that has an unclear cut in the loop. I wasn't able to recreate some of the hilarious glitches I saw online, but I did manage to make it far enough into the game to see the frame rate drop to like sub 15. So it's basically a normal switchboard. Hey, I don't know who this is for. I got nothing else. My brain hurts.
I've got one more big game that I want to talk about, but I do want to run through a couple of games that are bad. Let's start with the GTA Remastered trilogy.
If anyone had Rockstar apologizing on their 2021 bingo cards, mark it off. I sure didn't. The GTA Remastered trilogy is something I think anyone would have wanted. It's 3 classic games that have gotten a few ports here and there, but nothing really modern or, you know, not a mobile port. There were versions of the game on Steam and PlayStation Network that worked, but those were taken down to make way for the brand new GTA Trilogy remasters, which they then immediately took back, re-upped the originals and said sorry after we saw clips like this, and oh god, this. It's hard to believe, to say the least. I mean, who expected you to be able to make your car wider by jiggling left and right? Well, on top of a lot of the weird glitches and performance issues, there were a ton of problems that were hard to believe, to say the least. I mean, who expected you to be able to make your car wider by jiggling left and right? Well, on top of a lot of the weird glitches and performance issues, there were a ton of problems that were brought forth because of AI upscaling, and it's just a mess. It just looks and feels like Rockstar hired that man. You know, one of those Mario 64 and 4K Unreal 5 engine videos, and it just kind of feels like that. It's a shame because I think they deserve so much better. Then you got something like Baldo, the Guardian Owls, a game that on visuals alone looks promising. Does this look like Studio Ghibli to you? What about Zelda? Yeah, well, Italian developer Naps Team did their best, but unfortunately, this one falls really short. It feels 2 generations older than it is, and a lot of the cutscene quality is questionable. The chain of events you have to do feel like a checklist rather than an adventure, and generally the combat feels not great. It wants to be a grand 2D Zelda adventure real bad, and you can see the clone coming out of every orifice, be it in the UI, the music, or the general feel of everything. I'm not gonna dog on it too hard because it is a smaller team, but the scale of what they wanted to do here was a bit too ambitious, I think. I don't think many are gonna stick around for 50-ish hours, which coincidentally is probably the same amount of time it took people to realize that Amazon Game Studios' first big original release was a little busted. New World is an MMORPG that I was actually really looking forward to. It's got this killer aesthetic in a totally unique setting, like old school colonialism with magic and demons. There's a sandbox style approach to combat and crafting, and for a lot of people it looked like it was going to be the big new buy-to-play MMO on the block. Now, I haven't played it myself, and I won't say it's a bad game, but from a lot of the stuff I hear and a lot of the reception I've seen, it looks to have disappointed quite a bit. Not even going into the massive player drop-off you're seeing on Steam alone, New World's systems are easily taken advantage of in a way that favors someone camping. It's got its loud supporters and fans, but if you look at the forums, you'll see a lot of mixed reception. It'll be interesting to see how this develops over time. And one last crapper for 2021, Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions. You didn't think I'd let you off without one more licensed game? Well, Big Rumble Boxing, with its confusing name, is technically a Rocky game, one that really wants to be ready to rumble. Creed Champions, following the sequel movies Creed and Creed 2, star a very weirdly detailed yet totally uncanny version of a bunch of the characters from the franchise. This is just, Stallone, what's wrong? Michael B. Jordan was once voted the sexiest man alive, like last year. I don't think that's well represented in game. It's a 3D boxer that wants to be fun and have lots of ridiculous combos and special moves.
This
but really,
actually
it's
doesn't
just
look
uber
that bad.
generic
Oh
and
no,
has
it
close
does
to
not
no
look bad.
content with visual novel style storytelling. There's a couple of training montage sequences that are little QTEs, and they're neat and totally in the spirit of everything Rocky. And you've even got the classic music included that'll pump anyone up. It's just pumping you up to play this. I'd like to think that the legacy of the most famous boxing film and franchise of all time deserves something better than the developers of The Walking Dead Onslaught.
And
The Walking Dead
so
Onslaught.
we've come to the end.
Did I just get ad after ad?
Legacy of the most famous boxing film and franchise of all time deserves something better
That's
than the
hilarious.
developers of The Walking Dead Onslaught.
And so we
To think that the legacy of the most famous boxing film and franchise of all time deserves something better than the developers of The Walking Dead Onslaught.
And so we've come to the end of the video, the slot that I usually reserve for the game that was most disappointing to me personally. In 2020, you had Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, the year before Left Alive, and this year, it's not Square Enix. You did it. You got Game of the Year, actually. In 2021, I don't think a single game disappointed me anywhere near as much as Mario Golf Super Rush.
Nintendo's not usually one to make an appearance in these videos. Generally, they make decent stuff for the audience it's targeted to, and they don't target me any harder than they do with the Mario sports games. Ever since they decided to get a little wacky with it during the Nintendo 64 era, the Mario sports series of games have been easily my favorites. I must have sunk hundreds of hours into Mario Tennis and golf on the 64 and GameCube, and really enjoyed their flings with baseball, soccer, and whatever the heck the gang felt like playing this week. These over-the-top arcade sports games are a mainstay of every Nintendo console since then, and after a generation of lackluster Wii U ones, the concept of online Switch tennis and golf was the best. Mario Tennis Aces was a game I played the crap out of just on the concept alone, and even though it was a little bare bones at launch, it was packed with a lot of fun. I mean, it's tennis. Mario Tennis with gyro-aimed supers. What's there to lose? I mean, it's no Virtua Tennis 4, but nothing is. So when Nintendo announced Mario Golf Super Rush early this year, I was absolutely pumped. The previous entry, World Tour, was one of those 3DS games I actually played a lot. Rare, I know. The early Super Rush trailers showcased a brand new style of play where you run onto the course after your ball, bumping into other players almost like a race. I'm all for the inclusion of more ridiculous modes and forms of gameplay in these things, so I got double pumped. Then comes June 25th.
clicking
Mario Golf
caps
Super
lock.
Rush comes out, and this has gotta be the most disappointed I've ever been with a Nintendo game. Let's talk about why. Live games, or rather the whole concept of modern gaming these days. Starting with the Switch, Nintendo got really into the idea of piecemealing a game out. A lot of things they released in the last few years have shipped with a lot less content than you'd normally expect from something like Nintendo. And Mario Tennis Aces had it bad, and notably Animal Crossing did as well, but Super Rush has to be the biggest victim of this. Day one, this game released with a very small handful of courses, hardly any side content, and a main story RPG mode that was a huge letdown. The single player adventure in the Game Boy Color version of Mario Golf was one of my favorite aspects of that game. It was this cute little thing where you picked a character, you could power them up and play with them in the Nintendo 64 version with the transfer pack, and you just golf to your heart's content. Classic Mario Golfin'. However, Super Rush's RPG mode decided that it was going to spend a majority of its time not letting you play golf. Enter the new mode, Speed Golf. This is the most predominant thing that you do by a long shot, and frankly, I kinda just wish I could play the game normally. December 2021, and this game has a lot more content, modes, characters, online options, and everything, but the week that the game came out, there was just not much you could do. All of the launch courses are very cut and dry and lacking that, toadstool tour quirkiness and the fun level design. The whole Mario thing. You could only unlock like one costume per character, and it took a ridiculous amount of time. That fun, quirky content, the stuff Mario Golf and all general Mario sports games are known for, was trickled out over the course of 6 months. On top of that, the only way to unlock the lackluster courses was to play the lackluster story mode, meaning that in order to simply just play golf, you had to play speed golf. Frankly, I didn't really like it. The whole point of trying to pull off crazy, carefully planned trick shots becomes completely irrelevant when you're just just trying to go as fast as possible. I just don't enjoy this much. I don't know about y'all, but it's very rare that I'll go back to a game if I play it and am immediately let down by it. I played a bunch the week it came out, felt like I'd wasted my money and time and just tucked it away. Maybe all the new fun, updated content is good, but it's one of those things where it's just hard to go back. But this also means that in the future, when the update servers are all offline, and you know that's gonna happen, if you wanna play this game, you might be playing the base ass version of it, and I don't think that's gonna hold up well at all. The worst part is, the golf itself is good. Hitting the ball feels good, and the new mechanics feel good too. It just took a long time to allow you to do the thing. Considering that Nintendo is moving into using their subscription plans with the Expansion Plus NSO thing as their main business model, I can only assume that we're gonna be seeing more stuff like this. And that sucks, man. Nintendo, just put Toadstool 2 on the eShop and I'll never ask for anything again. Except maybe another F-Zero. Okay, bye.
And there you have it, my worst and most disappointing video games of 2021. The yearly video that keeps on giving, and you guys keep watching. Which is fair, because, you know, everyone likes to watch someone suffer. Now, obviously, I didn't get to play everything this year, so if there's something you think I blatantly missed, please drop it in the comments. I would love to. Well, I'm probably not going to check that out, actually. Anyways, I've been Austin, and this is not the last video of the year. I got like 2 or 3 more, probably 2. And
companies of all sizes use BigQuery to uncover new insights from their data, like cost savings, operational efficiencies, and new ways.
It's that time of the year again. 2022 has blown over in a mostly unspectacular fashion, and video games have happened. We've got big releases like Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok, capping it with bits of fun here and there. For me, personally, it was the year of Vampire Survivors, and I don't know, Soul Hackers too. But just like any old set of 365 days, there's bound to be things that are disappointing and terrible. 2022's badness wasn't as egregious as previous years with its Popeye and Nerf Legends, but it was, at least to me, a lot more disappointing. There were several big profile releases that kinda just flopped out, got reviewed in the 6s and 7s, and went in one ear and out the other before the month was out. And that's a shame. I was looking forward to Saints Row, and then that happened. This happened even with things that should have been a total shoo-in. I don't think anyone was expecting Diablo Immortal to be as ridiculous with microtransactions as it is, but here we are. At least NFTs are dying out, even if they were essentially replaced with AI-generated art, which, okay, let's not get started. But if you're wanting to see some of the worst that gaming's offered in the past year, you've come to the right spot.
So yo, it's Austin, and as is tradition, I've dug real hard and good to find some of the worst and most disappointing video games of 2022. For the most part, I played good and older video games this year, so in order to fill this out, I had to do a little bit of scouring, and you know, I did exactly that. As usual, I'm gonna be avoiding indies and little micro titles because it's just kind of punching down, and you never know if it's just someone's first attempt at making a game, and that's no fun. Instead, I think I'm gonna spend a little time picking on small indie companies like Nintendo. Yeah, you know what's coming. So we've got a lot of games to trudge through, some of which took a lot of time, but thankfully I was able to keep myself energized and going with today's sponsor, Factor. The holidays are a busy time, and I personally have been trudging through so many different video games for this video in particular that it's been hard for me to, you know, not eat on the go, and thankfully Factor's fresh, never frozen meals have hit the spot, and they're pretty healthy. So Factor is a deliverable meal kit that's cheaper than eating out and takeout a lot of the times these days. And with that, you get a no prep, no mess meal that comes with plenty of diet options like keto, vegetarian, vegan, and protein plus. This week, I'm a big fan of the Santa Fe green chili beef skillet, mostly because green chili is a top tier flavor, but also because it's delicious. But they also offer 34 different meals each week on top of add-ons, so there's plenty of options for anyone. Simply pick something out, toss it into the oven or microwave, properly plate the thing because it's almost 2023, and have yourself a nice and nutritious meal. I'm also a fan of their smoothies, because sometimes you want a quick boost that's not going to have you crash a few hours later. Factor's also owned by HelloFresh now, so if you put the two together, there's a huge variety of meals you can pick from, and you can enjoy a discount for both on me. So if you're busy these holidays or just want to try to start eating healthier this time of year, go to go.factor75.com/eruption60 and use the code eruption60 to get 60% off your first Factor box. Go show Factor some love, it helps out the channel a bunch, and I'm probably gonna go have another one right now. Thanks so much to Factor for the sponsor, but for now, it's time for bad video games. as well as disappointing ones. Obviously, since we're tossing both bad and disappointing into the same video, we're going to be talking about two different types of things, so why not start with something that's a little bit of both? Despite being delayed for well over the year, Resident Evil Verse, whatever you want to call it, is a total joke.
I think the reviews were too easy on this one, although I think that's because it's technically a free update for anyone who owns Resident Evil Village, a fantastic game. But considering this was announced in January of 2021, had a beta in April of that year, then was delayed twice all the way to October of 2022 is bonkers. That original beta was met with a pretty mixed reception, so you'd think that the delay would result in a better product, but no, it sure didn't. Reverse is a weird concept. It's a free-for-all deathmatch, but one where you pick your favorite Resi hero who then transforms into a monster when they die. Ever wanted to see Ada Wong turn into Jack Baker? This is for you. It's a not terrible concept that feels not very good. You run around in a circle on one of 3 maps, collecting weapons, shooting other players, and then getting a second chance to kill more people when you die. You can become a stronger bioweapon by picking up these massive purple virus capsules that'll put you in a tier of higher enemies. You can be the jobber explodey dude that dies in 3 hits, all the way up to Nemesis. Sure. I'm not really sure who this is for. I feel like Capcom keeps throwing specifically Resident Evil multiplayer modes at the wall, hoping one will stick. I don't think that they've managed to recapture the magic of Mercenaries from 5, and they clearly want to make something work in the 2022 sphere. Battle passes? You got it. Gotta maximize my reverse dailies so I can unlock Claire with a tank top, or whatever this emote is. Also, there's no date on this thing. It's one battle pass. Is there gonna be another? Probably not. I'm going easy on this because it was technically free, even if it allows you to spend those precious dollarinos on microtransactions. And there is definitely a huge amount of potential in the concept. You'll just unfortunately spend a majority of your time getting stun locked by other players and respawning since the time to kill is like half a second. But hey, at least I can unlock a classic ugly Mega Man attachment for my guns. Good old Capcom fan service. To be honest, I'd rather play Umbrella Corps. If anyone wants to play a decent multiplayer Resident Evil, just play 5, or heck, try Outbreak on a private server. At least those games have more than one song.
What about something that's super disappointing, but also still technically good? A lot of games are getting ruined and messed with by weird publisher decisions and over monetization these days, and this is happening more than it really should for different reasons. Point in case, Sonic Origins and Overwatch 2, two extremely different releases that are disappointing for 2 very different reasons.
Sonic Origins is a bit of a mess. That's not a fault of the games, as Sonic 1 through 3 and Knuckles are solid. Well, most of them are. The problem comes in when you release a compilation that falls short of not just expectations, but what they've done in the past. The concept of Origins was great. You repackage the original Sega Genesis trilogy as a single thing, give them the widescreen treatment, and then gloss them up a little bit with some fantastic animated cutscenes by Powerhouse Studios and Tyson Hess. But for $40, this wasn't anything. Not only were the games available on the Sega Genesis collection on pretty much everything, but also as standalone versions on Steam and other platforms. But not before Sega removed them from individual sale. A classic move. Then when the thing came out, it was buggy. It had a lot of issues that weren't in the original games, and it was pretty baffling. There was a crazy glitch at launch where Tails would keep jumping off screen to constant jump sound effects over and over. Sega and the developer headcanon of Sonic Mania fame caught a lot of flack for this. Then one of the individual devs went and made a huge public Twitter thread basically blaming Sega's internal changes for everything, and well, that's the kind of thing you do when you don't mind burning a few bridges. The only other major thing from this was the change in music on a few stages due to Michael Jackson's alleged involvement, which was then completely blown out of the water by punished Yuji Naka a few months later. So needless to say, it's been a busy year for the Blue Blur.
Thankfully, Sonic got himself a decent release before the year was up, so 2022 was
burning a few bridges. The only other major thing from this was the change in music on a few stages due to Michael Jackson's alleged involvement, which was then completely blown out of the water by punished Yuji Naka a few months later. So needless to say, it's been a busy year for the Blue Blur.
Thankfully, Sonic got himself a decent release before the year was up, so 2022 wasn't all too bad for the Blue Blur. Still, Origins was a pretty low effort, clearly rushed out of the door product made for one reason: money. Speaking of money,
Overwatch 2. Activision Blizzard and their terrible controversies aside, the core gameplay of Overwatch 2 is good. Well, I suppose that depends on the week. Overwatch has gone through all kinds of balance tweaks, with periods of people being really mad and really happy, but the whole Overwatch 2 debacle is something else. Simply put, it feels like a neutered version of something that was fine as is. Converting the thing into a free-to-play model, Overwatch 2 had me legit missing loot crates, and that's not something we should be saying. Previously, they've been releasing new heroes to play as in a sporadic fashion, usually accompanied by big trailers and events, but now they're running the 2022 favorite and something that's going to come up multiple times in this video, the Battle Pass. But one that might actually be the worst iteration of it I've seen. Previously, if you gained a level in old school Overwatch, you'd be given a loot crate to open, maybe more if you did the bonus thing. Each crate has 4 items of varying rarity, with any duplicates turning into a currency you can purchase stuff with. Yes, this is technically gambling, but the amount of skins, sprays, and whatever you get in a single session was way higher. Now, you'd be lucky to get 2 or 3 items in a single day, and that's playing really hard with all of it predetermined. The Battle Pass, which now needs to have money spent on it, is extremely slow to level up. Last year we complained about Halo Infinite doing this, and this is worse in every manner. On top of that, each new character is tied to each pass, which isn't terrible in theory, but if you don't unlock them in this way, you have to buy them after the fact. So this popular thing that had ranked competitive gameplay that was not like that for quite literally 6 years is suddenly thrust into a new model that destroys the entire thing. Just starting Overwatch in 2023? I'm not sure why you would, but prepare to grind to unlock every character and spend the full price of a retail release to just have access to the roster. I haven't even gone into the other stuff. With the new balance being 5 people per team and 8 groups of 6, just had to kick the weakest link, which was probably me to be fair. Oh, also the PvE mode, the whole thing that Overwatch 2 was announced for in the first place, still nowhere to be seen. With a roadmap that simply says it's coming. Overwatch 2 went from a fun game to pick up and play into something you need to log into just to be caught up. It takes a lot of playing to make it through the pass at a decent rate, and when you have something like Fortnite out there quite literally setting the example of respecting players' times and unlocking things at a decent pace, Activision Blizzard's take on this is quite frankly embarrassing. Like, I'm gonna reveal my secret power. I started playing Fortnite with no build. I finished 2 full battle passes and it didn't even take me that long. So I don't know what they're doing here. On top of that, they recently announced that Diablo 4 was also gonna be doing this, which puts all my hopes for that into the drain. There's still a lot of fun to be had with Overwatch 2 and the raw gameplay if you're able to look past a lot of the real world important issues, but their current form of monetization needs to change if they don't want to have the consumers turn against them. Especially because in the future, you're probably gonna need to spend money just to counter a future broken meta. Oh, okay, I got a solution. Why not just ban the brand new character from Quick Play and Arcade? Good job, Blizzard.
I think that it would be dishonest to say that both Sonic Origins and Overwatch 2 are bad games. They're just decent products wrapped up in a bunch of malarkey that's really unfortunate. But that's just part of what makes them so disappointing, the expectations. But you know what has no expectations? Licensed shovelware, and this year's got a bunch of it. Is
this your kettle? Is this your shower? Then you've got a serious limescale problem. EWT's Gold Series water softeners.
A few publishers out there continuing the decades-old bad licensed game trend, and for that, I thank them. No, for real. This is dumb, but I've always thought that you should go out and play some shovelware to cleanse your gaming palate, or whatever we want to call it. Just like bad movies and tasting different cheeses. That variety is good. You ever wanted to play a Star Fox 64 clone based off of that DC Super Pets movie? Sure, go for it. Enjoy listening to not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I'm here to fight for truth, justice, and treats.
Enjoy your gaming.
But also, by no means should you play Quest for Excalibur Puy de Feu. I think that's how you pronounce it. You are currently looking at a PC port. This is not the Switch version. Published by Microids and developed by Balio Studio from Belgium, Quest for Excalibur is a licensed theme park video game. Similar to Universal Studios Theme Parks Adventure, Quest is based off of a popular historical theme park called Puy de Feu over in France. I am obviously not French, but looking at footage of this game and proper
DLC title to play this year, and the only thing that I could really find that was close was Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, but I just can't do it anymore. Sorry. but at least they have voice acting. It's still the same thing though. However, if you look at the cover, you'll see one small detail, and it's the one, the only Garfield. And it turns out he got himself a full video game this year, Garfield Lasagna Party. One made by the exact same developer as Quest for Excalibur. I didn't know until it was too late. Garfield Lasagna Party is practically what the name implies. You got lasagna, you got Garfield, and it's a party. But this time around, it's of the Mario variety, cause yes, this is a Mario Party clone. Although if you were expecting more than one map, something that you should expect, you're sorely mistaken. Lasagna Party is split into 3 different modes: Lasagna Race, Challenge, and World Tour. You'd think that World Tour would be the big Mario Party clone, but no, it's just Race. The other 2 are just ways to play the mini games inside. You can choose one of 4 total characters: Garf, Normal, Arlene, Odie, and jeez, the screen is just filled with garbage. I like how Garfield pops up like a rant Sona anytime he's trying to give you a tutorial. The goal here is to get the most lasagna, basically stars, except these things come to you in big batches during the mini games, making this one clearly skill-based. There's a little element of strategy, as during each opponent's dice roll, you can use a consumable item to alter their roll, meaning yes, you can go backwards.
Oh, big roll. Big roll. If any of
So you go -1?
Wait, do I go? You
This game rules, dude. You can't put it in the video.
The mini games are what you'd expect, mostly terrible. A few are decent, but most of them are derivative of a Mario Party game or just awful. I love how on TikTok you can just close the door on other players and get them stuck in a loop. Look, Mario Party as a concept is inherently something that'll make you get into fist fights. So you toss a poor feeling Garfield IP into the mix and you got yourself a winner? Or a loser. One that totally has Persona vibes. The real question, like every other Garfield video game I covered in the past, is who is this for? And I have an answer this time. There's a distinct lack of Mario Party on non-Nintendo consoles and PC. So if you've been aching for that, you can thank Microids. Garfield Lasagna Party. Don't play this. Also, I'm pretty sure that this is what Sonic would look like without shoes. Speaking of lasagna and Italians, I guess, the shovelware doesn't end there because we still got the digital side. Last year I mentioned that there was an increased amount of trophy garbage, games that exist for like $1 to $5 that just get you a platinum trophy because why not? And well, it only got worse. You ever play Italian Journey? Hold that button down and get trophies. If you aren't feeling the scenic backdrop of Italy, you've also got Desert Journey, Monument Journey, Snow Journey, all games that'll get you a platinum trophy in like 30 seconds. Jumping Pasta, make the pasta jump, got the platinum. These are obviously a complete waste of time, and if you're buying into this nonsense to farm an arbitrary award, you're not only cheapening what it is, but frankly making everything worse. So good job. Sony has actually announced that they're cracking down on this stuff because for a while there, browsing any kind of digital store on Xbox, PlayStation Network, or even the Nintendo eShop had you scrolling through a ton of games that didn't make any sense. What even is a Zump Jump? I only want to see high quality games like Furry Hentai Tangram, or of course everyone's favorite Sunday service, Breakthrough Gaming. They're still at it. Speaking of digital stores, the whole PlayStation Plus revamp was pretty disappointing. They positioned themselves to be competition to Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass, but have really fallen short in just about every manner. The updates are super sporadic, usually don't have new titles, and the 3-price tier system basically only gets you a library of older stuff. Meanwhile, I could boot up something like Gungrave Gore, Warhammer Darktide, or Chained Echoes Day 1 and get to it. That and PlayStation's classic lineup is really lackluster. Although I literally mentioned Heavenly Sword the other week as unported, and then they go and announce that for this month, but because it's PlayStation 3, it's still just streaming only. Sony's still got a long way to go. I assume it's only gonna get weirder when their line of games as a service stuff starts coming out. Speaking of, I don't know why, but it seriously feels like half of all modern video games just want you to only play it. I feel like the sheer amount of releases has slowed down immensely as we're thrown endless battle passes, season passes, passes, microtransactions, and these things are just complaints from 10 years ago that have gotten worse and louder over time. I think that we're reaching a point where developers are gonna need to go the AA or single player route in order to maintain an audience. This is something I actually really appreciated about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It just had an expansion pass with some new content, and it was an easy to pick up and put down game that didn't need you to spend 3 million hours on it. Look, all I'm saying is that something like Minecraft Dungeons doesn't need to be any of this. Again, between this, Overwatch 2, and everything else, I got nothing but dread for Diablo now. Then there's the other side of the coin with Lost Ark, a game that Amazon localized earlier this year that launched with a ton of hype and interest, but also one that was pretty quickly revealed to be wildly dependent on the amount of money that you spent. Somehow that gets even worse because it's all RNG, meaning you're quite literally throwing money away and having your time disrespected. It's a shame too, because Lost Ark was pretty dang fun. How about Crossfire X, aka the most generic thing to come out in years? Also one of the only actual Xbox console exclusives in what feels like forever. Crossfire X is a revamp of Crossfire, a Counter-Strike clone that was extremely popular in the overseas market. And I mean really popular. There's a Chinese TV drama with a bunch of huge actors on it. But I, the dumb American, have never heard of it until making this video. That's probably something that we all feel. It only even hit my radar because Remedy Entertainment, the people behind Alan Wake and Control, were in charge of specifically the single-player campaign. So playing this clunky, unfun to control, and personality-less shooter were shocking to say the least. This is like the type of game that would have gotten a 6 or 7 in 2010, but it's 2022 and everything here feels so dated. It's gotten a few updates, but I can't imagine the Xbox only player base of Crossfire X, a game that I'm sure people have actually heard about, are playing this over the vast array of other free-to-play microtransaction-laden titles out there. You could basically just play Valorant. I'm glad that indies and smaller titles are getting more traction, and it'll help if there's more curation from trophy garbage on the stores. But I sincerely hope that in the upcoming years we drop the "you need to play my game for years" shtick and just focus on making a good old-fashioned video game. Does that sound bitter? I'm sorry, I'm no better. Marvel Snap is like crack to me and I can't stop. 2022 actually did have a lot of single player experiences, including Game of the Year Elden Ring, and that thing sold like hotcakes, so it's good to see that, you know, it's well and alive. In fact, Elden Ring actually was the top selling game of the year until Modern Warfare 2 came out, but it is what it is. Anyways, it's not a worst of the year video from me unless there's some anime nonsense, and we actually almost made it out alive, but well, we didn't, because we got Samurai Maiden. Although I'm not sure who this one's for at all. Developed by Shade Incorporated, the same people that brought us Gun Gun Pixies and Kandagawa Jet Girls from a few years back, Samurai Maiden is an isekai aimed at fans of girls' love. Except it's also made by the people behind Bullet Girls Fantasia, meaning it's aimed at a very specific demographic, dirty otaku. Except it also seems to completely misunderstand the audience. The gameplay is what you would expect. It's a bare bones hack and slash that makes One-Chanbara look like Devil May Cry 5. You've got a very simple combo strand and the ability to use your 3 other girlfriends in order to do an attack occasionally. You can't play as them, that's it. You'll be running out of variety within 30 minutes, and even the skill enhancements barely feel like they add much. But gameplay isn't even the main focus here. For some reason, Samurai Maiden is like 70% a visual novel, a very slow-paced one with girls making extremely overly pantomimed reactions to anything anyone says.
Miko-sama! Hi!
You play as Tsumugi, a high school girl isekai'd into ancient Japan directly next to Oda Nobunaga and a harem of girls who think you're the chosen priestess that'll save the day or something. Along the way, you'll forge bonds with tsundere small, tsundere medium, and not as tsundere big bobs while going full Yuri. It's also poorly translated, and I kinda hate using this word, but pretty cringe. On top of just weird dialogue, you got a girl introducing herself as Gen Z, and that's something that no one would ever do. Also, what do you think happens when you censor an anime booby game for anime booby game fans? You get yourself a not very good game that just pisses off the audience that bought it for that specific reason in the first place. Anytime you pause, a dark void opens up, but not the one developed by Capcom. I find it kind of weird to censor these kind of things while having all the other stuff in the game intact. According to the official website, when things get tough, you activate the devoted heart technique to have samurai and ninja lock lips to enhance their abilities. So at least they did know the type of game they were making. But with the censorship, crappy gameplay, and the fact that you can just Google something like samurai and ninja going at, I'm not really sure who this is for. I hate that I'm saying this, but there's just way better examples of this exact thing to play. Like Blue Reflection. Go play Blue Reflection. Unfortunately, Samurai Maiden was also censored on the Nintendo Switch, meaning that anyone who was hoping that Nintendo's platform would be the last bastion for anime bits and bops is sorely disappointed. I don't agree with the censorship, but it's also not a very good game, so whatever. But speaking of Nintendo and disappointing, we gotta talk about the Switch. In 2022, the Nintendo Switch just ain't cutting it anymore. You might be a little confused as to why I'm saying this, as the Switch got a lot of killer apps that were critically revered and sold like the dickens. I mean, I like some of them, but as a pure piece of hardware, this thing cannot keep up, and there are several high-profile exclusives and third parties this year that have technical issues or in some cases a lack of content. The eShop is pure agony to navigate on console, as it lags into another dimension anytime you try to move the screen down. I like to browse these stores for new releases, and between that and the shovelware flood, it's a bit of a nightmare. I am happy that they stopped doing the limited time launches like they did with 3D Mario and Fire Emblem, but their lack of giving a single care for classic games is worrying. NSO is now multi-tiered in pricing, but there's not a GameCube thing in sight. I know tons of people would love to just buy a port of something for $15 or $20 and call it a day, but Virtual Console seems to be a completely dead concept. This is all the same stuff that's been echoing for years, but for me personally, I can't even play the Switch much at all because of the performance issues and all the bigger releases. This is most definitely a me issue and something I'm sure a few others might feel as well, but adaptive resolution actually makes me feel nauseous. So as much as I'd love to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and knowing that I would love it, looking at the thing run actually has me getting sick. So many of these games with a ton of love poured into them have ridiculous technical issues that prevent me from playing, and other third parties are now getting a big ol' asterisk on them. In the case of Sonic Frontiers and a few other titles, it became don't play this on the Switch if possible. And that's a sign that we need new hardware. While Nintendo's had its disappointing releases this year with Switch Sports and the Mario Soccer game, there's nothing that's been more poorly received than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. and I'm sure you saw this coming. Scarlet and Violet might be the great divide. I'm not much of a graphics guy. Your game can look like Bubsy 3D for all I care, as long as it runs and performs well. This new generation of Pokemon straight up feels like it's falling apart at the seams. As with every other new generation that comes out, I get nostalgically sucked into making a purchase on release day, and this is the fastest I've dropped one of these so far. I had to force myself to keep playing just for footage. Pokemon is a cute kids game, and I think that's where the expectations for it should be. But it was shocking to me just to see how poorly this was performing docked at home. Constant stuttering, objects disappearing, frame rates variably dropping to where things in the back were running in the single digits. On top of that, the variable resolution making what should be pretty vistas all chunky looking. I get that Game Freak came up as developers from portables, but my expectations for performance are way higher. As far as the game itself goes, I do think that the franchise is going in the right direction. I like the aspect of an open world Pokemon where you can run around and do whatever you want. While it does feel extremely janky and unfinished on a lot of aspects, it is like the product that fans have been clamoring for since we were kids. Being like 8 on the playground, wanting Pokemon on the Nintendo 64 where you can run around and catch stuff anywhere. They're getting close. Even Arceus had a bunch of technical issues, but Scarfy is a whole different level of, well, unacceptable. In a rare move, even Nintendo threw Game Freak under the bus and apologized for the state of it. Some of the glitches are Skyrim funny, but they gotta build up a lot of consumer trust to get past this in the future. Or not, because it's the fastest selling Nintendo video game of all time, doesn't really show any signs of slowing down, and it's almost like little kids don't give a single frick about any of this. At the end of the day, even with the new direction, it's still the exact same Pokemon game it's been for 20 plus years, and at this point I don't think it's going to or even should change. It's baby's first RPG, and you know what? The world needs that. I just hope that we get some new Nintendo hardware soon so I can stop playing things on a glorified Wii U. Either that or I'll find a way to emulate Xenoblade 3. The ball is in their court.
Speaking of RPGs, let's talk about Square Enix. Longtime watchers of the channel know I'm a big Filthy fan, but also kind of like rival at this point. But being a Square Enix fan this year has been kind of a difficult time. The past few years, we've seen lots of really disappointing releases come from Square Enix. Typically, I can kind of tell what a publisher's trying to do, but I have no idea with Square.
Square Enix released a lot of games in 2022. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Triangle Strategy, Stranger of Paradise, Live Alive Remake, 2 Voice of Cards with Square. Square Enix released a lot of games in 2022. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Triangle Strategy, Stranger of Paradise, Live Alive Remake, 2 Voice of Cards titles, Various Day Life, Diofield Chronicle, Star Ocean Divine Force, Harvestella, Valkyrie Elysium, Dragon Quest Treasures, and more remasters than you can shake a stick at. I mean, heck, even the Wiki missed Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered. And if Wikipedia is missing Dragon Quest Treasures, and more remasters than you can shake a stick at. I mean, heck, even the Wiki missed Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered. And if Wikipedia is missing something, you know that there's too much. And we got Forspoken in a month. It's not stopping. All of this, of course, in the same year that they sold the entire Eidos side of their operations in order to fund NFTs, some of which are now tied to figures they're selling. Like, your Forcekin didn't do it too. Every single one of these clouds has a certificate for a dumb digital version, and I don't think I've ever seen a video game publisher misuse money this much. A lot of these games ended up being like 6s or 7s, but it felt legit like Square Enix was just throwing as much at the wall as possible in order to see what stuck. Or like they were clearing out the books for a potential sale in the future. Obviously I have no clue, but it's disappointing to see so many mid-releases hit the stores. I actually really liked Diofield Chronicles, but Stranger of Paradise to me was a mess that got over because it memed too hard. I mean, it was pretty funny though.
Bullshit.
Fortunately for them, Square Enix actually has both my personal worst and most disappointing video game of the year, like 2 separate titles. Y'all already know the worst. I made a 100% video on it, and I was thinking that there would be time to top it since it came out all the way in March, but no, Babylon's Fall stands tall, or at the bottom. And now, it's shutting down. I guess. Consider this an update. Babylon's Fall is a huge flop.
It doesn't play very well, it doesn't make much sense, the visuals are extremely hard to look at, and it showcased Platinum Games in a very negative light. I have a whole 35-minute long video going into detail about that, but the too long didn't watches, it's not the worst thing I've ever played, but is a clear sign of Square going in a bad direction. Between this and Avengers, they wanted a games as a service title real bad, and as we saw with Scalebound, Platinum couldn't pull it off. The end game is mind-numbing, and for some reason my editor went and 100%ed it as well because my warning wasn't enough. Come on. Well, it turns out if you want to have that rare Platinum trophy, you've only got 2 months left to do it because Square Enix announced in October that the servers are going to be shutting down in February, 2 weeks after my birthday, meaning Babylon's Fall didn't even make it a full year. And they've accepted this as a massive failure. There were a lot of apologies, and the large-scale update canceled. So since I stopped playing, here's what happened. Season 2 Battle Pass update, new weapon type with guns, a slight expansion on the story, then Season 2 was extended, a few event fights here and there, but between my video and the announcement of the end, there were only a small handful of new additions. On February 28th, 2023, Babylon's Fall is going to be one of the first console-centric games as a service to be shut down. There's a final free season pass that is basically the same stuff as Season 2, and I admire them for putting anything in the game between now and shutdown, but we've come to this really unsatisfying ending for a game that, at least in my opinion, had a ton of potential. Also, for some reason it says the final battle pass is gonna run longer than the game's gonna be up. Guys, I think you need to fix that. Despite having a lot of troubled development, multiple trailers throughout the years, multiple betas, and having a small thing going for a decent amount of time, Babylon's Fall only lasted 7 months before they decided to call it a day. And that's why, to me, it's easily the worst game of 2022.
While Babylon's Fall may not be disappointing for everyone, it was for me. And while the thing definitely had problems from the start, there was always like a glimmer of hope that I'd be like, yeah, this is good, but no. But also, it doesn't even come close to what I actually thought was the most disappointing game of the year. For this, we're gonna have to head back to the Nintendo Switch. Only a single week later, we'd see the digital-only Chocobo GP, a game I was pretty hyped for.
This may sound kind of stupid, okay, really stupid, but I was expecting a lot out of Chocobo GP. I don't know if I'm just a huge sucker for kart racers, Final Fantasies, or dumb spin-offs, but when I saw those initial trailers, I got excited. Y'all know I love me some All-Stars Racing Transformed, and I don't hate Chocobo Racer for the PlayStation 1, so the idea of them doing something new with this was exciting. None of my issues are Switch related, by the way. This was a rare, really well-performing third-party exclusive for some reason. I was really concerned when they announced it was going to have a free version, though. Immediately triggered my fight and flight thanks to Crystal Chronicles Remastered. I think because I'm an adult who has a job, the idea of a free-to-play game is more of a warning sign than anything inviting. I would much rather pay a flat price, get a full game, and call it a day. So, Chocobo GP has a $50 entrance fee, and not even seconds into the experience, you're tossed a premium currency. Because yes, Chocobo GP stands for Chocobo Games as a Service, pussy. I hadn't played this thing since launch though, so I was amused to log in and be given apology gems. I guess I kinda get what they were trying to do. They wanted Chocobo GP to be a platform that you'd come back and play. To their credit, developer Arika did a pretty good job designing a fun kart racer. It controls well, it feels good, the items are unique. There's a cute story mode where Chocobo and friends are doing the racing thing, meeting new friends and solving mysteries or whatever. There's also an obnoxiously cute main menu theme. I don't think anyone was expecting this. And don't forget about all the crossover characters, like Final Fantasy IX's Vivi randomly questioning his existence. Is this appropriate? Even Atlas like, hey, really?
Rest assured, I will not be arresting you or any of your friends today.
It's a nice, wholesome time filled with a ton of characters and fan service that's fun for a playthrough, and it should have just been this in a multiplayer mode. But a majority of all the content in the game is locked behind the battle pass.
That's what I'm saying.
The premium 3-syllable punch that never stops giving. A $50 video game should not have a battle pass, period. I don't really do review copies, so if I'm paying a premium price
price for a game, then I'm gonna need a premium amount of content. Square Enix straight up did this in Babylon's Fall in the same month, and it's baffling to me that they thought that this was a good idea. Granted, the first pass was technically free, but it also required you to play a ridiculous amount to unlock Cloud or anything else. Granted, they have changed it quite a bit now, 9 months later, but this was unacceptable for a game that was niche enough as is. I did appreciate the fact that the free version lets you play the online Chocobo GP mode without as many limitations so as to keep a player base going, but it is ridiculous to me that they thought this would work. This silly Chocobo kart racing game should have been something I played a ton on and off for a few months, but instead they had me for a single day before I got frustrated by being locked out of progression for finishing my weeklies. Chocobo GP is a game that is still going. Heck, it's even getting a big update this week with Midgar as a racing track, so at least it's managing to stick around. But every fiber of my being is thoroughly confused that they didn't just make a completely free game on all platforms. So between Babylon's Fall, Chocobo GP, their oversaturation of the market, the sale of Eidos for NFTs, the $14,000 Terra statue, and continuously baffling decisions, it's been pretty disappointing to be a fan of Square Enix.
That's life for you.
Oh, and guess what? While writing this, like literally right before I started filming, I found out that Square Enix is discontinuing Chocobo GP after the new season. So 2 Square Games as a Service titles that are just getting discontinued less than a year after being out. Don't even know what to say. But anyway, there you have it. Another year, another video about me giving out about Square Enix and other titles. I really wish they would stop. What's disappointing for me is probably going to be radically different than what's disappointing for you, so if you think I missed anything, let me know down in the comments. I dug as much as I could, but thankfully 2022 wasn't anywhere near as bad as previous years. Unfortunately, because of how many games I play on this channel, I actually missed Elden Ring. I totally sat around and just played Babylon's Fall instead of what everyone else was having fun with, so maybe I need to change that. Actually, if you have any good recommendations, I would love to hear those as well, because pretty much recently all I play is Vampire Survivors clones and Marvel Snap, and I could use a little culture. There is, of course, one game missing from this video that a lot of people were really disappointed with, but it's also one that I'm working to make a 100% video on, as I've mentioned at the end of my last few videos. So I've been Austin, and catch me next time for my first video in 2023 when we go 100% into Gotham Knights. Also, I'll see you at MagFest. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Special Patreon shout out to Avox, Aaron Kwolek, Blackfoot Ferret, Chris Shelton, Christopher Oliva, Doug Prince, DX Buster, David Molnar, Elijah, GM Pinks, Hey Quiggles, Jay Roos, Jacoby Fitzpatrick, Kevin Zanowski, Kieran Arter, Nami Babs, Nick Irving, Ryan Talbert, and Shazan. Thank you so much for your generous support. 2022 was a really good year for me for the channel, and I hope it was good for you as well. I am going to be at MagFest, not in an official capacity, just kind of roaming around, so if you see me, come say hi. And you know, hey, thanks to everyone who supports the channel. It doesn't matter if you're a Patreon supporter or if you just click subscribe or you just hate watch me sometimes. I appreciate you being here. Happy New Year's to everybody, and I'll catch you on the other side. Bye bye.
Have this play in the background or?
We are Innovate, powered by Cisco, the IT solutions.
Deadly Premonition is one of the most bizarre and broken games you'll ever play. It's a game you either love with a cult-like passion or hate with a burning fever. And you might think I'm exaggerating here, but I'm actually not. It holds the Guinness World Record for the most divisive survival horror game ever made, and I completely understand why. Love it or hate it, one thing everyone can agree on is that it is utterly bizarre.
I can't believe it. This is fantastic. It's really good. I'm sorry, but can I change my order? I'll have what Harry is having.
Any attempt to intro this madness is just wasted time. Words can't do it justice, so instead, let's just begin our tumble down the rabbit hole. with a story that begins the moment you launch the game, in which we see a pair of twins making a gruesome discovery. A woman having been murdered and mounted on a tree, displayed like a twisted work of art. But who is this woman and why was she killed? A mystery only our protagonist can solve. FBI agent Francis York Morgan. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. When the game starts, we actually find him in a sort of dream sequence, stood in a red room with two childlike angels whispering gibberish between themselves. The keen-eyed among you might even notice that these are an angelic version of the twins that found the body in the forest. And after inspecting an old TV, the twins finally acknowledge us, telling us it's time to get started.
It's about time to get started.
This leaves us with an obvious question. Where were we and what were those kids? No answers for now. Instead, we find York in the real world, speeding along and ignoring damn near every traffic law known to man while he mulls over his investigation.
At very least it'll get me out of the cramped city for a while. Right, Zach?
All of his monologues are directed at someone called Zach, an unknown entity York bounces all of his ideas off. When Zach is asked for his opinion, we get to answer. When we stop at a random location, he asks if Zach wants to explore a little.
Zach, is there something here that you want to check out?
So Zach appears to be a metaphor for us, the player, helping and guiding York in his investigations. That said, in Deadly Premonition, nothing is ever as it seems. Back in York's whip, turns out using a laptop, looking at crime scene evidence and smoking all at once makes it difficult to concentrate on the road. A man appears just in front of his car, forcing him to swerve and tumble down a cliff. York tries to regain control, driving through monkey squirrels? Before crashing into the forest below. Crawling out of the wreck, York lights up a Fatten and frankly doesn't seem all too concerned about the accident.
Zach, there goes the civilized world.
We're in full control now, and in the rain, lost in a forest, we have to make our way out. Using the pipe, we break through the fence and follow a path up as the sky glows red above us. Further along, a dog's barking, and the closer we get, the more distressed it sounds. Until York turns a corner to find it dead.
Huh?
If the red sky wasn't evidence enough, something's wrong here, and at an old shack a few steps down, we catch a glimpse of something lurking. Reluctantly, we enter, but it's empty. There's an old generator there and we flick it on, restoring power to the exit gate, but in doing so, we've caught something's attention. A woman appears behind York, and when he tries to speak to her, she contorts backwards. This is the game's first and most common enemy, known as the Shadow, possessed corpses that relentlessly hunt York. As they stumble towards us, they groan different phrases, most disturbing of which is that they don't want to die. They attack by grabbing us and ramming their dirty hands down York's throat, which I think it's fair to say is not an ideal way to go. Their purpose within the story is a mystery at this point. All we know is that they appear during storms and pursue York with lethal intent. Pulling out our trusty 9mm, we quickly dispatch the Shadow, causing her body to dissolve into a purple mist. But the problems don't end there, because the entire forest is now littered with the buggers, and they all want a slice of York's cakes. Shooting through walkways and metal cages, we arrive near the exit gate when York is ambushed by a man donning an axe and raincoat. Dodging his attack, he hits us with a honey, before f***ing off to cause another pile-up on the M4. Given that he's on the boxer and we're here to solve a murder, you can damn well expect this mysterious person is up to no good. But for now, we're out of the forest. And old Yorkie, well, he's not surprised, because he was already warned about this event by his coffee.
My coffee warned me about it. Yesterday morning, the milk I poured in my coffee made a sign. It said, Tomorrow you'll arrive in a place that will change your fate.
Oddly specific and complex to spell out with milk foam. But thankfully, the small town of Greenvale is just ahead down this long ass road. And yes, you do have to run that distance while listening to what sounds like wet buckets of water being kicked. This really was the first Strand type game. All we're missing is music by Low Roar. At the bridge, one of the town's deputies is waiting for us.
Are you the sheriff?
No, I'm Deputy Sheriff Emily Wyatt.
If you couldn't tell by the cringy music,
He went looking for you, actually.
York wants to hit that.
She's easy on the eyes. Definitely worth a trip to the primitive world.
Maybe cut back on the imaginary friend talk, my dude. You don't want her to think you're crazy. While chatting, the sheriff sneaks up behind us, materializing from the bridge itself.
George Woodman. Call me George.
His name's George. Your typical badass sheriff sort who doesn't like being told what to do by big town folk. Two alphas, button heads. A power dynamic you love to see in these types of dramas.
By the way, George, I had a little accident with my car. Could you send someone to take care of it?
All right.
York tells the sheriff about his crash and heads off for his hotel, but not before the big boss gets one last taunt in.
We really don't need your help. Unlike some of your corrupt city police officers, I play it by the book.
Okay, Handlebars, calm yourself down. Calling it a night, York arrives back in the Red Room, but this time the angels are gone and we're able to pass through the door behind them. Following a thin red path, we're called back by a child.
Our job, very simply, is to help those people out there. That could be helping somebody with a CV. That might be helping somebody if they're doing an interview with a company. It's not just about...
The kid shows us that holding our breath means the shadows can't detect us.
Can't see you if you hold your breath.
Using this ability, we sneak past, lingering for a moment while the shadow bends back just in front of us. You can use this ability at any time, but it's never required or even useful. Don't get me wrong, I hate forced stealth sections in games, but I don't know why they'd even add this. It's worthless.
Who are you?
We ask the child who he is before waking up in our fucking huge bed to mull over the dreams we've been having.
The symbolism in my dreams continues to intensify, but that child is what bothers me the most. I swear I've seen him before.
On the way to breakfast, we walk through the large, empty halls of the hotel. We're the only guest in the entire place. It's empty. These carpeted spaces almost give off Shining vibes as you walk around. It's far too big to be this empty. It's like a liminal space. In the dining room, the owner of the gaff, Polly, she's waiting for us.
Polly Oxford.
Where we converse over yet another comically large piece of furniture. York tries to ask Polly about the town's history, but she can't hear shit and refuses to sit any closer.
Polly, it might help to hear you better if you could sit a little closer.
Oh my, Mr. Morgan. You're embarrassing me. So early in the day, too. I think I'm a little too old for you.
The music even seems to get louder when she's talking.
Big and prospering lumber town until not so long ago.
And I can't tell if that's poor sound balancing or part of the joke, but it's chaos.
I'll bring your coffee out in a moment.
Thank you, Polly. I have to warn you, though. I am very particular about my coffee.
By now, some of you might have noticed the game's striking similarities to a little show called Twin Peaks. And that's no coincidence. Deadly Premonition is massively inspired by that show, which also followed a murder investigation in a small town where not everything is as it seems. In fact, Deadly Premonition began as an entirely different game altogether, one called Rainy Woods, which was announced at the 2007 Tokyo Game Show.
FBI Special Agent David Young Henning.
For whatever reason, this version didn't make it off the ground and was instead rebooted as a different game, where they decided to pull back on the Twin Peaks references slightly.
Could you wait just a little longer?
If you haven't watched Twin Peaks yet and you enjoy this video, go watch it. They're very similar and the show deserves all the love it can get.
Bears eat oats and does eat oats.
Back to breakfast, Polly brings York his morning coffee and again, this caffeinated treat provides him with a sign.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. I knew I could count on it.
Initials? An acronym? An insult? It's too early to tell.
Now then. Let's get going.
Outside, we find a police cruiser with a key on the hood, something York's gassed about. Values really get this man going.
This town has what the country needs.
values.
Heading to the police station is our official objective right now, but once we're behind the wheel of the car, we can go wherever we want, and there are a few side objectives we can carry out to further our investigation. These side hustles aren't required to progress. They're not even mentioned by the game. You have to hunt them down yourself, but a lot of them are worth doing because they provide insight into the town's life and the characters involved in this crime. For example, right now we can drive over to the victim's mother's house and see what she knows. It's a few blocks down from the station, so we start the journey over, crossing the country lanes and small businesses en route. Needless to say, this game looks like ass. Even for its time, its cheeks got clapped by the ugly stick. Bear in mind, it came out the same year as Heavy Rain, Mass Effect 2, God of War 3 and Red Dead Redemption, and I do hate comparing games, but whenever I mention bad graphics in my videos, some dumbass in the comment section is like, well, of course they bad, it old game, you just nitpicky. No, please, clean the dribble from your mouth, it was bad even for its time. Models and animation are whack, the UI is grotesque, and even the sounds are generic, like listen to the gun. I mean, come on man, you're not even trying. Interior locations are mostly fine and nothing offensive. The real problem begins in the outside sections with painfully generic landscapes and constant frame rate drops. I played it all the way through on both PC and the Switch while making this video, and I have to recommend the latter. You're still lucky to push 15 FPS at the best of times, but it's way more stable. Gathering the footage for this video on PC was a nightmare. Performance aside, I will concede that the weird models and animations, in a way, it works in tandem with the bizarre story. I couldn't imagine a game this crazy having perfect graphics. York's janky smile and the compressed turkey sandwiches are a perfect representation of what this game stands for. Inside the victim's house, we find her mother who's despondent with grief. She asks us to find her daughter's favourite dress for the funeral, and being compassionate men, we agree to help. Finding the gown in a walk-in wardrobe, we hand it over to the mother who's having a full-on mental breakdown.
The dress! This is Anna's dress!
Or she's possessed. I don't know. Spinning with the dress, a key falls out, a key to Anna's locked bedroom. Letting ourselves in, we look through her belongings and find a diary that specifies some suspicious going-ons.
The first time he used it on me, it was so amazing. He doesn't let anything slip. I'm really worried about Becky.
Zach, this could be more interesting than I thought.
This information doesn't change anything. There's no branching plot lines, but I love that the game trusts the player's intelligence enough to let them head there and actually do some detective work.
The dress! This is Anna's dress!
Mooching back to the old station, we're introduced to another deputy, Thomas, with his unique run. We ask him for the case files and he runs off to grab them, giving us a chance to explore the building. Nothing special aside from the sheriff's office, and that room is dripped out.
It's the epitome of the old frontier sheriff's office. It's perfect.
He even gives us a little side hustle by finding his missing dumbbells.
Can't finish my workout menu without them.
And when we return them, the chief gives us a good show. This is the peak male form. Returning to Thomas, the locker is holding true to its name. It's locked, and the key is missing, which means we have to run around the station and find the right one. There are a bunch of keys scattered about, with the majority being duds.
Is this the one you were looking for?
No.
The one we want is in the cell block below. We grab it from the messy cell in the middle and bring it back to Thomas, where the team gather and discuss the crime.
The victim's name was Anna Graham. Age 18, she just recently graduated from high school this year.
After which they agree to head to the hospital for the...
You know, I'm just thinking I could do something better than this model. Like, maybe I'll just grab a mannequin, get one of my hoodies, photo scan that, make it low poly. Oh no, just photo scan that and then... Yeah, shit, I could just do that. I should do that. Well, gonna have to, you know, fuck this model. I'm just gonna do something else. Heck, gonna change stream. Time to go channel. Well, I'm already on the channel. Just have to do that. Okay, video producer, stream manager. Yep. Am I correct with this? I'm just gonna read my thing. Just use that instead. Do this. Yeah, that's good. Well, instead of streaming, making a model, because I think I could do a better model. I can't draw humans or make humans, so I'm just gonna be streaming Postal 2. Yep. Undo UI, add back in timer, display capture. Undo this, undo that. Got my thing. Go over here, Postal 2. I'm gonna load that up. I need my controller turned on. Yep. I regret nothing. Postal 2, yes. Tools, scripts. Yep. Close that. Okay, so, hey, well, I didn't even click reset. And click start, so just gonna check if I'm now streaming on. Yep. Check that. Check it and check it out. Time to wait. Was I? Okay, I was in a weekend paradise on Thursday. Da 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 da. Gonna kill some rednecks. Okay. Oh. Okay, so. Okay, so I'll need to go get some thanks or pay a ticket. How much money do I have? 20 bucks. Oh, look, it's the ATF or SWAT. Actually, no. Yeah, it's actually SWAT, not ATF.
Idiot.
Sorry. Oops.
Hey, watch it.
Did it again. I pressed the button.
Coming through.
Asshole. Now, switch this. We're gonna find more catnip. Because it's a really useful tool. I'm gonna be needing it for the steak. I have a baseball bat. Darn. I thought I could, well, just swing it and miss. Okay, so wait, where do I need to go? Okay, I'll need to go to well, I only got a quality doll, so I need to go and get a ticket. Okay, more steaks. Steak sounds easier. I'll do that first. Police officer didn't notice shit.
About him.
Well, they're dead.
Ah, that's the stuff.
I feel like there was something supposed to be there. I really want to pick up that food, but if I do... Okay. Where can I go to get some money? Well, not obviously here, that's for sure. I feel like I'm mumbling on my words since I have my earphone in instead of, well, just playing normally with headphones. That's a veggie. Done to fly. I say, why goodbye?
That stuff really works.
Okay, so junkyard clinic factory. Okay. Question, is it also close to like that was a cactus. I nearly just walked myself into a cactus because I thought it was something else. Huh. Why do I feel like there's gonna be like an enemy up there at some point? That doesn't seem like I'm gonna be safe there at any time soon. I guess there's an ATF over there. Okay, I'm gonna check if he's not gonna be there. That's only a shotgun. That's only a fish finder. So there's no money there, so it's basically useless to me. Okay, time to go over here. Wait, I'm supposed to go down here, I'm gonna go down. Cactus. Fucking cactuses, am I? Trickly bastards. Got a stick of dynamite, but nothing useful there. Okay. Okay.
Oh, my nads.
I'm here!
I feel like I haven't been here.
I'm calling the cops! I gotta find more of that good stuff.
No, they can't prove a damn shit. Okay, let me look over here. Okay, let me look.
Nabs. Ow. Maybe I should keep that.
Well, I should just load checkpoint, shouldn't I?
Coming through.
There's the parcel center. Close close for decontamination. What the fuck radioactive shit happened in there for decontamination? I found an MP5. You can find it there, apparently. On Thursday. Is there anything on the other side? You need to look for items. Handgun ammo. Okay. Nothing. Nothing. Done. I was expecting that to find more cat. Is that actually useful? Sounds like a strategy guide to find catnip. I think I could find it at the Caucasian, but maybe if I go to the mall. Yes, the mall. How do I get to the mall again from here? Okay, got it.
That's the one! It's all going down. Look out! Get out of my line of... Get out of my...
Ah, killed them. I just bumped into one of them and they started shooting the ATF. Sorry, police.
That's the one! We've got a situation here. Drop it, asshole! Get the fuck on the ground, asshole!
Okay, time to go to... I think I know where. How can I find Captain? Like, buy. She gives you donuts.
That's the one!
Okay, so I'm gonna enter into here, which is the slums, which might have an Al-Qaeda member or two. Is it Al-Qaeda or is it... You know, I'm not gonna directly assume what type of member it is. Since... Yep, there he is, the American.
That's the stuff. That stuff really works.
One side.
Yep, Taliban. Actually, it's Taliban.
That's the stuff.
Got some napalm. That's gonna be good for the napalm launcher, which I'm gonna probably get. But I'm not gonna use it. Reaper Death Scythe, I already had one. Jesus Christ, they all want to kill me quickly.
I feel better already.
Gonna go get myself a crotchy dog. Bank leg jump up. Okay. So where do the little blue balls head? Da 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 da. Did I just piss myself into that? Nope, no secret right in there. Not here. Nope. Wait a second. Jesus Christ, the hairs on my face just making so a fucking big disgrace. Going to kill the mercenaries, going to kill the mercenaries, 'cause they took my pizza pie. Going to kill the mercenaries, going to kill the mercenaries, going to kill a race of mercenaries. I'm kind of scared since I just saw a black woman turn into a police officer later. What the fuck happens in there? I don't know. What the fuck can I actually buy from in here?
Bring your money to me over here, please, now. Hello, and what do you want? This is not a standard on looking place.
Looks like they're out of goat milk. Fuck.
Bring your money to me over here, please, now. Hello, and what do you want? Hurry up and buy something. Yeah. That'll be $300. Thank you for
Why
your
is he
unclean visit.
gone?
Now get out and come again, please. Bueno.
I just get crack.
Bring your money to me over here, please, now. Hello, and what do you want? This is not a standard on looking place. See? That'll be $200.
Camel.
There you go. Thank you.
Camel
Please,
toes
thank you.
for two camel toes for $1. Okay.
Hey, watch, look out!
Well, take care. Hey, did you see that show on TV last night?
Son of a bitch.
Coming through.
I guess I should go to Paradise Mall. They might actually have something there for me. I might actually know what, like... Found the sawed-off shotgun. Actually, I think you can find, like, more... this a lot more early. I think on Wednesday. Nope. Nothing. Oh, those are meat protesters. Wait, meat protesters? Why the fuck are there meat protesters? I don't remember fighting any meat protesters. I fought against butchers, but meat protesters? Doesn't seem like something I actually did fight. Damn. Am I forgetting parts of Postal 2 that I played through? Well, it was a while. Yeah. This police officer, she's just gonna walk into me and just... Oh, she didn't try to fucking attack me. Okay. Okay, now I regret that decision. Okay, it's just a medkit. And nothing else. Well, it's getting down in front of my face. That's just gonna only give me... Yep. Dirtiness. Okay, that's gonna only get me the fish bass. Which I don't know if even people use that. Like, there is a thing that gives it a unique property, right? Which I can understand people using.
One side.
DFRs.
I can help you over here, please.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of snipers. After all, teen sniper's not that good of a fucking sniper. They had to cut me from the game.
Creeping like a beast. Thanks.
Well,
Wait a second. If my eyes weren't fucky wucky. Huh. Okay.
Hey! What the?
Nothing there.
What the? What the?
Okay, I'm just gonna do something. Save game on a... Yeah, save this one. Again.
Hey,
Hi there.
is this everything?
Yes.
That'll be $100.
But I'm only $1 short.
See? Now you're dead, bitch.
How can I?
Uf, chapete.
Gonna piss you off.
Hey.
One side.
Oh, this is fucking nice. Okay, gonna find out. Okay, I'm gonna go to the intersect, which is gonna let me go to the other side of the mall.
I can help you over here, please.
Now I want yeah, I just saw some cats get murdered. Okay. Why the hell are these fucking blood red? Okay, so there are donuts. Where can I? Okay, so wait a second. Gonna save here. Let's see what I get.
Hey.
Hi
wait,
there.
Wait, I think I know what it is. Pizza is there. Donuts. Donuts. Fuck off. Okay, so Beast Lover over there. Okay, there's a queers over here, which what can I buy? Just health pipes. How much? Okay, so gonna go down here. Okay, gonna go down in here. Check. Oh, soft shotgun again. No. Well, I just picked up two sort of shotguns. Oh, crack. So nothing there, nothing there. Seems all good. Good. Time to go outdoors again. Okay, I'm gonna pause the game, do a little bit of research. Where I can find catnip. Find catnip in Postal 2. Okay, it's Bates Motel, Money Shot Laundry, houses. Probably won't find one in a week in paradise. Yes, Tin of Catnip makes debut in Postal 2 when dropped on the floor immediately. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there are a few where those items regenerate after going through transition zones. Actually 10. Okay, so where do I have to go? On top of the arcade slash, okay, and Asian building in home area, you'll find the cabinet. Well, now I know where to go get it. Gosh, where am I going exactly? Lucky Ganesh, PlayStation, or Postal Center. Okay, so this is the way I should be going. Oh. Ew. That's disgusting. That music, actually, that should play in the background. There's ambient sound, but it kind of sounds boring. Gonna check. Well, actually, no, I did save. Well, it really doesn't matter. It starts with... Now, time to go fucking find myself some catnip. So, police officer, right, with that costs. Wait, there might actually be money in here, though.
I feel better already.
Yeah, I'm getting lost in this place so fucking easily. I feel like there's gonna be something happening in this room a little bit later in the game. The game's there. It's getting in the way of my eyes. Oh, time to find where the lucky connections. I'm blind as hell.
Look out!
This would be more fun if I had Cat with me, or Athena. I am fucking pissed though. I can't fucking remember this whole damn map on the back of my hand.
There's the killer!
Question, how can I get behind the Lucky Ganesh? Like over there. Okay, I'm gonna save here. Well, time to go back here.
Fuck.
The 5 is the... There is. I'll have to fucking go over all that shit. I'll need to find how to get up there, which is easy to do. I'm not gonna go through there. I'm gonna go through the back. Good. If I fuck up this jump, I'm gonna kill myself. Which... Glad I didn't have to do that. I'm really glad I didn't have to do that. Check all of this. Check if it has anything. Nope, it just has loud noise. And a stick of dynamite. Some crack pipes. Okay, so I'm gonna need this. There's some napalm over here. Cat food. Catnip. Yes. Oh. Now time to go get my things. Yep, gotta just check. Okay, so this is the area. Gonna go to the level transition and if dog. I have a pack of angry dogs. They ain't my dogs, so...
Ah, that's the stuff.
I should probably...
I definitely need more of that.
Well, I'm gonna just leave the... Okay, so this seems like I could actually... Oh. Yeah, I'll need to go through a section of...
There's something funny about him.
Hey, you!
Look out! Yo, mom! I don't like the look of him. One side.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to have catnip on demand.
Look out!
Hey, Ayatollah, how about some service over here? I need some steaks for the Psychotic Friends Network barbecue.
Yeah, so you can have a barbecue all alone.
Crap, now I'm gonna have to find it myself. They probably keep them in the back room. I'll bet that door is unlocked.
Okay, what's going on? Oh, these are cannibals.
What are you doing in here? Hey! Get him!
Whoa, got it, baby.
Okay, so I'm gonna automatically load this save. It's gonna show that, yeah, there's catnip up there.
What are you doing in here? Hey! Get him!
Yeah, baby, I am the Lizard King. That's gonna be sore tomorrow. Right in the... Whoa.
The walls are melting. Groovy.
I feel better already. I definitely need more of that.
Stop or I'll shoot! I said get down! Stop right there! Stop or I'll shoot!
Doesn't take a genius to guess what'll happen the next time one of them sees me.
Oh, okay, so I'll need to pay off a traffic ticket. I'll just wait. Okay, so if I have that still up there, in 3 seconds, I'm gonna leave the store. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so where do I have to go next? I need to get napalm. That's right. You couldn't see through my disguise. Okay, so I got to go pay a parking ticket and get napalm. Get napalm sounds a lot more easier. Thank you, game.
Hey, watch it.
Okay, I'll watch it while you fucking walk into the fucking road. That as well, some take panic. I get to where do I go to get napalm? Factory, right?
There's something funny about him.
Yes, finally was able to go through that. And I ended up directly where I wanted to be. The factory. Okay, now let's go.
Shit.
That gave me a fucking jump. I got the item.
I definitely need more of that.
Okay. Napalm Emporium. Or institution. Okay, you shouldn't be smoking here.
One side.
Got some Glock ammunition.
Goddamn cat. Look out.
Wait a second, node script. Oh, it's an inside joke about how characters move using nodes. Huh. Didn't know some programmer added that in, because they...
Look out!
Okay, so I'm gonna go over here, if this is the actual entrance.
Hi there. Hello, miss. I need to buy some napalm. To kill weeds in my lawn, as far as you know.
That'll be $300.
Fuck. You know, I'm trying to do this the most peaceful way without, well, resorting to doing anything. How do I get $300 reduce? You know, fuck it, I'll just rush in. But security might seem a little bit tight. Yep, napalm back to gonna go over there. I'm not gonna lose health this time. And I'm not gonna break in like that into the wrong area.
Stop or I'll shoot!
Got the scumbag right here. I've got the perp and got the scumbag right here.
Freeze!
I've lost my faith in this system.
I'm not wasting like $300 reduce.
Okay, you're coming with me. I'm going to have to right to remain silent. Get down on the ground, asshole! Stop right there! That's it. You're under arrest. Now just hold still. You have the right to remain silent. Anything
Come on,
you
hurry
say
up. I know you
can
got
be used
minorities
against
to oppress.
And this is how we skip the whole entire section.
What the? I've got the perp in view. Stop right there! Got the scumbag right here. Stop or I'll shoot!
Okay, so gonna go back to that autosave. Back in the PlayStation. I think I went down into the wrong area.
One side? What? Idiot.
Got the scumbag right here. Stop right here! What the? Hey! What the? What? What? Hey! I've got the perp in view. Stop or I'll shoot! Stop right there!
Got the scumbag right here.
Got the scumbag right here.
Freeze! Stop or I'll shoot!
I've got the perp in view. I've got the perp in view. Got the scumbag right here. Got the scumbag right here. I've got the perp in view.
Stop right there! Freeze! Shoot! Stop or I'll shoot!
Suspect sighted. I've got the perp in view.
Freeze!
Got the scumbag right here. Got
Suspect
the scumbag
sighted.
right here.
Stop right there!
Got the scumbag.
Okay, so now I know where to go.
I've got the perp in view. Stop or I'll shoot. Stop right there.
Idiot.
Stop or I'll shoot. Suspect sighted.
No, I didn't get the right.
Got the scumbag right here. Stop right there!
What's the reload?
Got the scumbag right here. Stop or I'll shoot. Stop right there.
Got the scumbag right. I've got the perp in view.
Stop or I'll shoot! Stop right there! Got the scumbag. What the? Stop or I'll shoot! Stop! Freeze! Stop right there!
Hey!
Stop right there!
Huh?
There's the killer! Freeze!
Finally. I'm now free of the police. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wait a second. Did I forget the stakes? Still have my traffic ticket, but don't have my money. I think I forgot it. Shit, I'm gonna have to walk back in there. Go do that. Feisty. Well, I'm gonna have some fun. Gonna scale this mountain like it's in Skyrim. You could tell this is a good game since it was made in 2003 and you can't scale up walls. Unlike a game that was made in 2011 and you could scale up the whole entire fucking mountainside.
Get him!
Time to break the law. Just a second time.
Got the scumbag right. I've got the perfect view. Stop or I'll shoot!
Okay, so I'm gonna look at this.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm here to pay for this trumped-up addition to some highway patrolman's retirement fund.
That'll be $300. Hello.
Hi there.
Can anyone help you?
My bad.
Okay, I'm gonna have a save over here. And if anything wrong goes, I can just reload.
Got the scumbag right here.
I've got the perfect view. Stop right there.
Stop or I'll shoot! Stop right there!
I've got the perfect view. Freeze!
Got the scumbag right
Stop
here.
or I'll shoot.
I've got the perfect view.
So, in order to do it, I'm gonna quick load. Now I know where to go.
Right here. Stop right there!
I'll go upstairs, 2 layers. There's gonna be the armory.
Clear my line of sight, you morons!
Outmaneuvered. Ooh, ooh. Have you played a game of basketball, motherfucker?
What the? What the?
Because I was fucking playing against T. Phillips. I just saying random names. Okay, I'm just gonna have a save. to the autosave.
Stop right there! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop right there! Freeze!
This is gonna be
Got the
sweet.
scumbag right.
I am the law.
Okay, you're coming with me. Ow! You're under arrest.
Stop right there!
What?
Hey! Hey!
Get juked. They're getting juked by me, a pro basketball player. These guys pulling their guns out on me. Get juked. Get
Down or I'll
juked.
put you down, asshole!
Stop or I'll shoot!
Huh. Didn't know you can go into here. Maybe some way of hiding from NPCs. Well, gonna use this as a way to judge. Well, Jesus Christ, I was gonna fucking enter this fucking menu and save. But thanks for crashing my game. Now I'm gonna have to load a yeah, ghetto. Okay, so I'm gonna save here. Yes. Ooh. Yeah. But that means I can raid the armory now.
I feel better already.
Coming through.
I can actually finish. Okay, now.
What seems to be the problem, officer?
Now I can re-enter this area again. Did I glitch on my screen?
One side. Hey, watch it.
Question, where is the pay box? You know, just so that.
Another one bites the dust. Time to head home.
One side.
How do you get stuff done if you can act like this? On the stairwell. These guys just piss me off.
Idiot. Hey, watch it.
It's tainted. Haha. Got an achievement. Booyah. God damn it. It crashed for the second time. I'm just gonna go upstairs, do the thing quickly.
One side.
Big Chief Dick Bickham. Just saving because it crashed last time. And I don't want to go back to, well, walking all this way through just to crash on me again.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey,
Let me guess.
Did you see that show on
She's the
TV
local
last
whore.
night with the people and that funny thing that happened?
You got 13 men in her. Finally. I can now make it to Friday.
I hope you found a bad touch crotchet. You won't believe what they're selling for online.
Oh, I got a crunchy, all right. Yep, definitely. Couple of times. Want to see the cool thing I picked up to kill the weeds with?
Ow! You ruined my carpet, you asshole!
Sorry, I was aiming higher, I swear. Gotta get this thing calibrated.
Oh, now I know why the thing doesn't work out well.
Stupid alternator. Let's see. Ah. Ooh, can't forget to pick up that package. Wonder what's in it. Guess I need to go here for that. Ah, can't forget Uncle Dave's birthday. He always throws such excellent parties at the compound. Now where is that? Man, I sure hope I get to sleep in tomorrow.
Aren't you a good boy, champ? Okay, just gonna save the game and, well, I'm done. I'm pooped. Yep, I'm pooped. That's the end of the stream. Goodbye.